I got to tell you, it is always such a pleasure to be here. Every year I come, it seems like it's a bigger crowd, and I think a real testament to the influence that NAIRA has had. I mean, you can't walk around without running into congressmen and potential congressmen and future congressmen and great Republican elected officials and candidates for office. I think Nosh and Hitesh, it's a real testament to your leadership and the influence of this organization to see as many good people that are here to support it. And what a wonderful organization NAIRA is. 12 years it's been influencing the debate and bringing together people from a great heritage of different cultures and countries, a wonderful appreciation of different religions and different perspectives, but all united under the Republican banner with a focus on helping encourage job creation and the entrepreneurial spirit that really drives America, and that's at the heart of what we believe and what we stand for as Republicans. And so my hat is off to Nosh and to Hitesh and to every single person who's on the NAIRA board and has been doing such a tremendous job of building such a wonderful organization. Absolutely terrific. So many of you are entrepreneurs. So many of you are small business owners yourself or work for enterprises that are struggling to grow in a difficult environment, difficult economy. And yet you've got a president in the White House that is hostile to everything that you're after. President Obama said recently, as was referenced earlier today at a campaign event, he said, if you've got a business, you didn't build that. Someone else made that happen. These comments are not only insulting to every hardworking entrepreneur, small business owner, and job creator, it undermines, I think, a heart of the American promise. That opportunity is available if you're willing to work hard and work to earn it. Men and women all over America have helped build businesses up from the ground. And free enterprise and free people, the unique opportunities that this country affords, in contrast to the entire world, is what makes America unique and makes America really the envy of the world. It's also what brought so many people and entrepreneurs to our shores. Whether you're here as a recent immigrant, whether your parents came here, or grandparents came here, or many generations back, people come to America to pursue those opportunities. And for the president to undermine that, the heart of that principal argument, is just devastating. Today, those freedoms of free enterprise and free people are under attack every single day. The principles that have led to American greatness. And that's really what is at stake in the upcoming election. Mitt Romney, in contrast, has declared that I'm convinced that President Obama wants America to be ashamed of success. But he doesn't want, speaking of Governor Romney, doesn't want government to take credit for what individuals accomplished. Romney recently said this. He said the idea that Steve Jobs didn't build Apple, that Henry Ford didn't build Ford Motor, that Papa John didn't build Papa John's Pizza, or that Ray Kroc didn't build McDonald's is not just foolishness, it's insulting to every hardworking entrepreneur and undermines that very promise of America. Congressman Paul Ryan, the Republican chairman of the House Budget Committee that Congressman Kaufman and Congressman Tipton worked with, said this. He said, the freedom and independence of the American population can best be guaranteed by allowing people to govern themselves through their elected representatives, by keeping limits on the size of government, and by encouraging each of us to take responsibility for our own well-being. We can best be aided by our families, by our communities, by our churches, and local institutions, with government, especially the federal government, only as a last resort. That's largely what we stand for as Republicans. And Barack Obama simply cannot run on his record by pointing out all the great accomplishments of his administration, because the result of his policies have been an explosion of federal debt, out of control federal spending, dismal economic growth, and a host of regulations that are stifling the entrepreneurs and the small business and job creators of America and right here of Colorado. And that's really what we see in terms of the upcoming election. But unlike 2008, this year Barack Obama is greeted by a Republican Party and by a very different landscape here in Colorado. Poll after poll is really showing that Americans, and Coloradans in particular, are fed up with his failed policies. And he's greeted by a Republican Party that's motivated and energized to make him a one-term president. And that's why I'm so excited to see all of you here today. In 2008, Obama said, because if you don't have any fresh ideas, then you use stale tactics to scare the voters. If you don't have a record to run on, you paint your opponent as someone people should run from. You make a big election about small things. He said back in 2008 that if you can't beat your opponent's ideas, you distort those ideas and maybe make some up. And that is really what we're seeing as the heart of the president's argument with respect to his election. But I would also submit that simply running against Barack Obama is not enough for us as Republicans. We have to, in contrast to Obama's broken promises, Mitt Romney and our Republican candidates for office have an optimistic, forward-looking vision of America that does not offer excuses, but instead takes responsibility for and lays out a concrete plan for confronting the challenges of our day. Mitt Romney and each of our Republican candidates, a lot of whom are here today, are common sense leaders who will govern like they promised to on the campaign trail. They'll pursue and advance and implement policies that will make it easier for entrepreneurs to build and expand their businesses that will create jobs. The Republican plan will strengthen the middle class and allow families to keep more of their hard-earned money by cutting taxes, by limiting government regulations that stifle freedom, and by increasing opportunities for trade around the world, fostering greater choice and accountability in education, and perhaps most importantly, instilling a culture of honesty, transparency, accountability, and fiscal discipline in government. You know, Colorado is no stranger to narrow elections in which our state has cast the deciding votes. In 1876, a little bit of a history lesson for you as we wrap up our remarks, Rutherford Hayes, the Republican from Ohio, received 185 electoral college votes to the Democrat, Sam Tilden from New York, who received 184, a one-vote margin of victory. Colorado, of course, in 1876, the centennial state, had only recently become a state, and it was too soon, and the election was too close in order to do a popular election. And so the legislature, which at the time, fortunately, was controlled by Republicans, elected 3 Republican presidential electors and allowed 3 Republican votes to the Electoral College was the margin of victory. Colorado cast those 3 Electoral College votes for the Republican candidate for president and secured a narrow victory in 1876. Well, it's 2012. And Colorado, again, we're looking to our state to provide that margin of victory to secure a Republican win. In NAIRA, that's why you and each one of you who are part of this organization play such a vital role. Every single vote matters in this election. This election is not just going to be a referendum about Barack Obama. It really is and needs to be a referendum on freedom, answering the question of whether we're going to continue along the same path of weakness, dependence, stifling regulations, and servitude and dependence to our bondholders, or whether we are going to rise and meet the challenge of our generation, to change course, to restore that promise of America, the promise of the American Republic for us, for our children, and for future generations of Americans. The president is going to come to Colorado and he's going to campaign on the old divisive slogans, lots of promises that he's failed to live up to over the last few years. But I don't believe that Coloradans are going to buy it this time around. They want more than empty rhetoric, and they deserve four more years of broken promises. That is why, with your help, the Republican Party of Colorado will compete for every single vote. Don't underestimate and don't minimize the influence that you can have with your employees, with your friends, with your neighbors, with your family members, with the people in your circle of influence. Your influence is what's going to help decide this election. And as a result of your help, our state will once again cast those decisive electoral college votes to make sure that we elect a Republican president and put our nation right back on the path to opportunity, freedom, and prosperity. It is such a pleasure for me to be here with you today, and a tremendous honor to be able to share the stage with our guest speaker, Dinesh D'Souza. I first met him many, many years ago when I was a college Republican. We invited him to speak to the college Republicans at CU Boulder. In fact, when I was the state chairman many, many years ago, we invited him to speak to our state convention, and I still remember it was a big highlight of my young, early political career, and it is a distinct honor for me to be able to share the stage with him now as he talks about these important principles that have helped make America great. Thank you for letting me be with you. God bless you. God bless NAIRA, and God bless the United States of America. Thanks, guys.
Folks, just so you know, every year it's tradition at NAIRA, at our banquet, to give a state party chair a little assistance in cleaning house, the legislator and also the Senate, and as clean as possible you go up to Congress. So since you need a little bit of assistance, we are giving you the special gift this time around that drastic times need drastic measures.
Oh,
so
that's really it.
You're going to please show it to the crowd.
Last time they gave me a brush, like a bathroom cleaning brush.
That didn't work.
I'm not sure what
Thank you, Ryan. You're on your own now. Thank you so much. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank